Welcome to the Microsoft AI Skill Fest. I'm so glad you're here. No matter where you're at right now, we're ready to kick off today's training sections about how to use generative AI for everyday marketing tasks. So before we start, make sure you have registered for the event if you haven't done yet. So you can just scan the QR code you see on the screen. So you can participate in the Guinness World Record title attempt. And we want to make sure you're eligible to claim the World Record badge when we break the record. So take a minute to do it. So our today's topic is AI for marketing, smarter workflows for everyday tasks. And before we start, let's all equip some basic concepts about generative AI. What is it really and how it differs from the traditional AI we all hear about? So in fact, traditional AI isn't something new. It has been around for a long time, a few decades. It's just like the classic version of AI, and it set the foundations of generative AI. And probably you have already interacted with AI daily, long time before without even noticing that. But in recent years, generative AI becomes so popular because it is a subset of AI and it is being so accessible. So for example, you can easily access generative AI technology through chatbots like Copilot, ChatGPT. So that's why the adoption rate is getting much higher, and that's why it become a very popular trend in the recent years. But however, in a nutshell, generative AI is actually part of the AI technology. And how it differs with the traditional AI is that traditional AI focusing more about performing tasks that typically require human intelligence, such as reasoning, learning, problem solving, and it focuses more about analyzing the data to make predictions, classifying information, and finding the patterns much faster. But however, generative AI is more about focusing, creating new content, for example, text, images, video, audios, codes, by learning the pattern and structure from the data you feed into AI. But however, both of them are actually in a subset of AI. So now you have some basic understanding about generative AI. We also there are some misconceptions about generative AI. I want to make sure we really understand what is it. So first, generative AI doesn't understand the context like human because it is actually based on probability, is predicting the next word and tokens based on the pattern it is seeing. So actually it don't understand the context if we don't fit in the data, the insights, the context, the background information to AI. And also AI, the intelligence from AI is not like is truly a superhuman, but however, it is simulating the intelligence by learning from vast amount of data. So it doesn't process consciousness, self-awareness, and even independent thinking. So it doesn't understand the way we think. So all it does is try to mimic the way humans think and understanding by using some statistical relationship in the language. So it is intelligence, but however, the intelligence is by simulation and mimicking the way we think. And also, generative AI doesn't always deliver the accurate answer because it can hallucinate. And again, it's based on the training data, is always based on predictions. So meaning that it might generate false, misleading, or even make up information that doesn't really exist. So sometimes you may also find the chatbot or AI can give you answers that is so confirmed, very confidently it can say, oh, it's true, but however, in reality, it's false. So as marketers, when we use the AI, we need to aware that this is an issue. So we need to do fast checking. We also want to make sure, use our own judgment to make sure the answers are making sense. And then generative AI is not only limited to text and images, it can also generate audio, videos, codes, game environment, and it is increasingly become multimodal. So at its become more advanced, it's not just limited to text and images. It can generate so many types of formats, contents, because this is the core technology of generative AI, is to creating something new based on existing data and patterns that is recognized. And also generative AI has bias. So people think it has no bias, but however, it has bias because generative AI is trained on a massive data sets from the internet, and which often contains the human bias. So that's why if your training data set, if your the data that you fit into it have some bias or is not a good quality, then probably the output will also have bias because of the training data issue. So now we all understand some basic concepts about generative AI. Let's also talk about some real-world AI marketing applications, how we can really use generative AI for marketing tasks. So basically, there are 4 key areas that generative AI is transforming marketing. The first one is really we revolutionize the content creation and we define the whole process. Because in the past, we marketers need to spend a lot of time in creating content, but however, with generative AI, it can automate so many repetitive tasks, content creation tasks like emails, blogs, social posts, and it streamlines the production process across multiple formats. And also, it allows us to personalize our marketing efforts at scale. Even though in the past, we also have marketing personalization, but however, it's so manual. But now with AI, we can make sure the process is more streamlined. We can just immediately create some tailored messaging based on our audience interests and the behaviors, and we can really scale the personalization efforts. Another thing is it can also streamline the data-driven marketing in real time and streamline the process. In the past, we always make use of the insights and then we inform the decision making. And now with generative AI, we can get the insights patterns much faster, so we can make the decision in much faster time, and it can also enhance the decision making through the pattern recognition. And then finally, a big piece is about marketing operations and workflows. So with generative AI, it can help to automate the operation workflows. For example, your teammate onboarding workflows, your meeting workflows, your other marketing workflow. So there are so many processes, but with the help of generative AI, it can really help you to automate these repetitive tasks. So, and also we structuring the marketing team and roles. For example, in the past, we spent so many time in producing content, doing repetitive tasks, for example, marketing reporting, but now we can use the time on some more high impact tasks like strategic thinking tasks, marketing strategy tasks. So it also helps to redefine the role of marketing compared to before. So now let's dive right into each big aspect of use cases. And one of the big use cases is about content ideation creation. And there are really 5 top use cases you can use it in this area. So first is the content creation is just can create content so much faster, like blog articles, product description, landing page copy, presentations, images. So you can just ask it to create different types of content, and also brainstorming content ideas. For example, you want to explore some topics, social media post ideas, video topic ideas, and also enhancing existing content, not just creating something new, but also enhancing existing content, like adjust the tone and also maybe adapt to your brand tone of voice style. And not just text-based, we also mentioned about visual content. You can just ask it to create images, removing or replacing the background or swapping the backgrounds. There are a lot of creative use cases you can think about. And then another big piece is content repurposing. So how we can adapt different content into different formats, because as marketers, we need to manage different platforms. So we can also use it to repurpose content and adapt to different specific platforms. For upcoming demos, I'll be using Copilot, but it doesn't necessarily just on Copilot. You can apply the same concepts, same ideas on all the AI chatbots that you prefer. So for example, we want to generate content ideas, so you can just give it some context. For example, this is a B2B software company selling project management solution to your audience, which are mid-level managers and operation directors. And then you can ask it to suggest perhaps 6 monthly content themes for Q2, and then for each monthly themes, and also provide 3 to 4 related subtopics, and then for different content ideas. So you can see just within a minute, you can see it will comes up with different content theme ideas, breakdown by each month. So each month we have a specific content theme target to these audience and also tailored to your business, your products, and then it comes up with different content ideas. So I would say these use cases, not necessarily for blog posts, you can also use it for video, also social captions, also product ideas. So just to be creative here, what are some use cases you may wanted to propose? And other use cases is about generating social posts. So for example, in this case, we are launching a digital marketing certification program. So this is the program details. We can fit it to AI and then ask it to draft a LinkedIn post announcing this product launch, and then also giving some context. For example, what is our brand tone of voice? Is this enthusiastic, educational, supportive? And what is the criteria for this post? And then so in a minute, you can see it will give you the post draft following our instruction. And then this time we can also ask it to revise it using a professional and authoritative tone. And then just in a second, you can see it will follow your suggestion. So it is very useful if you want to ask it to change different tone of voice. And then we can also, another follow-up is to revise, giving it some existing post samples. So we can also give it some social samples. So just give it our existing samples and then ask it to mimic our existing social posts, tone of voice, the use of languages, and revise the whole social post. So you can see that there are different ways you can use it to generate the social post. You can give it a tone, give it more context, and also fit it with some existing post samples. So it will try to mimic the way you speak, the way you write, and the response will be much more tailored to your brand. And a tip is always give more context to it. For example, about your audience, about your product, about your business, or any campaign details. So the output will always better quality and tailored to your business needs. Another use case is about repurposing long-form content, as we discussed. So for example, we have this long-form content is work quite well with our B2B audience who are marketing managers. And then so now we can fit it to AI. We can also ask AI to repurpose this long-form content. We can fit it and then use this prompt, and then ask it to repurpose it into a concise 1-minute video script with clear introduction and 3 key points from the original articles, and also include a strong call to action. So be more specific here, because the more specific you are, the more quality response that you will get. So you can just repurpose any type of long-form content into different formats. So in this case, it's a video script. So you can see it will tailor the response for video script. It has an intro and then the proposed voiceover and then the transition. So it is a usable format for a video script. It's following the typical structure for a video script. But however, if you want to repurpose in other formats like a social post or an email or other, maybe a pitch deck, you can also do the same. So try to understand or review what is your best performing content from your existing inventory. So if you identify, perhaps this long form content is performing really well for your brand, then you can consider repurposing it into a social post, into a LinkedIn post, so you can maximize the value of the content and increase the ROI. Because as marketers, we spend so many time in creating content. So how to maximize the value with AI is really a big use case, and it's so beneficial to transform your marketing effort. And so there are also a bonus use case about image generation. So if you love generating images using AI, so there are three ways you can generate images. So first way is really generate directly in Copilot. You can just give it a prompt, for example, create a professional marketing image for a product, then it will help you to generate image. So currently the image is powered by DALL-E, an image generation model. And our way is to use the Bing image generator. It's completely free. You can just give it some prompt, and also there are so many other AI generated images that you can get some more inspiration, and then you can check like what the prompts other users are using to get ideas. Another way is to use Microsoft Designer. So on Microsoft Designer, not just AI generated image, it can generate so many other image format. For example, icons, for example, banners, wallpapers, articles, infographics. So there are so many different contents format that you can use. Next areas of using generative AI for marketing is getting insights. And getting insights is really useful. AI is so good at analyzing the data, finding the patterns. So it can be used in so many areas. The first one is customer sentiment analysis. So as marketers, we always need to understand what is our customer, what they want, and what is the behavior. So AI is so useful in analyzing the unstructured data and then turn it into structured data. So for example, maybe comments, maybe reviews, maybe some social media posts, feedback. It can help to get the insights faster. And then also about the market, like identify trends, the demand for your industry, doing the forecasting. And then predictive analysis, like how we can use the historical data and to predict the future trend. And this is also in increasing areas we can use generative AI for marketing. And then audience segmentations, how we can define different personas, we can segment our audience based on the data that we see. And then optimize the content. So we can analyze like which headlines or images or keywords that resonate with your audience. So we can do some different variations, and then third to optimize the content. And then other use cases like campaign analysis and also competitive analysis. So literally generative AI can be used in so many data analysis areas, and so that we can have a better marketing strategy. So just to give you some demo, the first use case is about audience research. And this is a big use case for every marketers. So for example, let's say we have these raw data. This is the top real questions about home gardening. And so we can fit it to AI and then use this prompt, ask it to analyze this set of data and then to identify the top pain points about home gardening, the top motivations, common knowledge gap, and also decision factor, because we will also want to understand like how users make buying decisions. So you can see immediately it will give you the analysis about what are the pain points, the top motivations, and also the knowledge gap that it identifies from the real user question. And then what is the decision factor when choosing the service or products in home gardening, for example, like cost effectiveness, space adaptability. And then we can ask the follow-up prompt and then ask it to create 3 personas that represent the key audience segments for this brand based on the analysis that it did. So you can see it will give you different persona details. So for example, the beginner gardener, so what is the pain point, what is the motivations, the decision factors, and also the hobbyists, and then also sustainability advocate. So it will try to analyze all the audience data that you fit to it and then help you to segment the audience. And this is so important because for a brand or service, perhaps you don't have one audience segment. Maybe for most brand, perhaps it's more than one or one to three personas. Then so once you have these audience data, you can try to tailor your marketing message to these audience. So the results will be much better. So another use case is about market trend analysis. So for example, we have collect this industry report about our industry, and then we can use this prompt to ask it to give you the top 5 key market trends, and also explaining why each market trend happened, and then also one actionable takeaway for each trend that marketers can implement. So immediately it will give you the details about each trend, like why it matters, and then what is the actionable takeaways for each trend. Of course, in this example, we're just fitting in one report, but however, imagine you have so many reports, so many data, you can all fit it to AI and ask it to identify any market trends that you notice and which have implications to marketing. So in this case, it will comes up with like omni-channel integration, value-seeking consumer behavior, social commerce, and these have significant impact or implications for a marketing strategy. So you can also ask it to give you the actionable takeaways, like what is the actions that you need to aware based on this trend. This is so useful because it will give you the insights much faster. And then we can also do some follow-up prompts and then ask it to propose a 3-month action plan for the marketing team to address at least 2 of these trends. We want the action plans, what is the implications for marketing. So that's why you can also ask it to give you the proposed plan, like for month 1, month 2, implementation and testing, and then also month 3 is optimization and scaling. So in this example, it has picked the omni-channel integration, also personalization through AI and data. So it gives you the 3-month plan, like how we approach and how we can address this trend in our marketing plan. So do not just ask AI to give you the insights, but also always ask follow-up questions, like what are the actions that you should take as marketer, and how you can address the challenges or the trend that you're seeing from the insights, and asking more follow-up questions. So our next area of use cases is personalizing marketing efforts. So there are 5 key areas we need to take note. For example, content creation. This is a big piece. Email campaign, we can personalize marketing efforts. We can make personalized email, and then also dynamic visuals. We can showing different types of visual based on our understanding about the audience, and also recommending the products based on the user's behavior. And this is a very common use case about generative AI in marketing. And then also voice and tone customization, how we can adjust the messaging and also the brand tone of voice by personalizing it. For example, Gen Z, they prefer more playful tone, and also maybe a B2B clients, they prefer more authoritative or formal tone. So we can personalize the tone, the brand tone of voice by using AI. So this is just a use case about how to use it in personalized marketing email. So for example, again, we can fit it the persona details. We have these personas we get from the previous example, home gardening. Then we can fit it to AI. And then we can ask it to draft the free personalized email highlighting the aspect of the gardening tour. Perhaps we want to promote the home gardening tour for these 3 personas. Then you can see that it will give you the personalized email that is tailored for each personas with the email subjects and then the email message, and then highlighting what is the incentive would make these persona to take actions. So this is a really quick way you can personalize marketing email. You can just give it the details about your audience and then ask it to personalize the email. And then we can also ask follow-up. For example, for one of the personas, we wanted to do some A/B testing, email variations. As marketers, we always do A/B testing. So we can ask follow-ups and ask it to generate A/B testing variations for particular personas. So you can see that in this case, for variation A, it is emphasizing practical tips and ease. So variation B is about more emotion appeal and lifestyle. So you can just ask it to generate different ideas and transform your personalized email further. Another case is about personalized landing page. So every marketer needs to prepare landing page. So in this example, we have this existing landing page copy. And then now we can ask it to personalize these landing page. So, and then giving it some context. So for example, you can give it context about like our target customers is B2B senior executive, and then what are their behavior. Perhaps they manage team of 50 plus employees that pack with calendars with 15 to 20 minutes weekly. So they want to prioritize the time efficiency. So you give more details about your target audience, what they treasure, what is their needs, what's their challenges, pain points, and then ask it to personalize these existing landing page that speak directly to this B2B senior executive. So you can see immediately it will help you to revise the landing page that is ready to use and that will resonate with this target audience. So for example, it highlights some key features like awareness, meeting notes, and then advanced search for quick insights, and then integration with other workflows. And then it also highlights time save and success gain. So it used the language just speak to this a specific audience, what they care about, what is their concern, what is the challenges. And so you can just give more context to AI about your audience and to come up with more personalized copy. And this way, it will help you to maximize the ROI for your landing page copy, and the results will be much better than just a generic landing page copy. Another aspect of using AI for marketing is meeting and team communication. So there are a few areas we can use it. So first, we can automate the meeting summaries. Whenever you have marketing meeting, you can use AI just to recap the insights, the actions, what some key discussion you have made or concluded in a meeting, and also customize the agenda. So before meetings, generative AI can create personalized agenda based on the team members' ongoing projects and priorities. And then also it can generate ideas for more collaborations. It can suggest ideas and talking points based on the team current campaign goals and processes. And also doing some real-time transcription and translation, because generative AI is so good at analyzing the text, so it can translate to other languages or doing some real-time transcription. And also streamline operation workflow. We have discussed that a lot just now. And also some personalized follow-up. Maybe you need to have a specific stakeholders. You want to do some follow-up. So you can also ask AI's help how you can make it more personalized and then to manage the relationship better. So there are so many ways you can use AI for daily team communication and meetings. And what I'm going to show you is an example about using it to create marketing meeting agenda. So for example, we have these post advertising campaign report, and then we want to have a discussion with a teammate about this report. So we can use this prompt and ask it to create a detailed 60-minute meeting agenda and make sure it allows time for action items and also recommendations. So you can see it will just give you very detailed agenda, help you to brainstorm, and then how many times should be allocated for each item. For example, starting from introductions and then report highlight, and then also time is spent in discussion point, and then also action items, and then closing. So you can always give it some more context, and then perhaps you can also give context about the stakeholder details about your campaign goals. So the agenda will be much more meaningful. So it will save you so many times, because as marketers, we spend lots of time in meetings with clients or stakeholders or prospects. So by giving it more context to AI, it can come up with something meaningful. So you are well prepared before you hold a meeting. And then our other follow-up is that we can also ask it to propose 3 to 5 key questions along with answers for specific stakeholders. In this example, perhaps we can ask it to give us some question for the action items section about this report. So what might be some key question that the stakeholder, so in this case is your marketing head, maybe he will ask in the meeting. For example, you can give us some details about this stakeholder. Perhaps your marketing head or marketing director, they tend to ask specific data points or evidence-based insights. So you can give it some details to AI and then ask it to propose the question and with answer. So you can see it will comes up with key questions like how the campaign performance compared to the previous baseline, and then what are the challenges. So you can see it will be very useful, and then make sure you are well prepared for every marketing meeting. For example, you're going to you're having a very important meeting, you want to be well prepared. So you can just give the data, give the topic to AI, and then ask it to act like your stakeholders or your clients. So what kind of question they would ask, and then how AI would answer from your perspective. So this will be very useful. So every time you're so well prepared and you can predict what might be some situations will come up, and then ask AI to give you suggestions. Okay, now it's about some tips on the effective prompting, because prompting is such an important piece of getting quality response. So before I share the tips, there are some misconceptions about prompting. So I really want to go through each of them. Probably you've already heard some of them. So first one is vague prompts are sufficient. But however, in most of the time, just a simple vague prompt is not, because without good context, AI will never understand what's your needs. So the response will always be generic. And then also, we can't expect perfect output on the first try, because prompting is all about iterative refinement. We need to try and try. So we can start something more simple but specific. But however, if the output is not good, we can still fine tune it. So we can't expect we have the perfect output on the first try. It's all based on refinement. And then we always need to have give some context and format, because we cannot assume AI will understand what we think, because it's trying to mimic, but it can't truly understand what we think. So we cannot assume it will understand all the context. The fourth one is trusting AI output completely. And in reality is every AI models can hallucinate. They will make false information. So that's why never just use AI output without your own judgment and critical thinking, because AI can make mistakes. And then also some misconception is about being polite to AI will improve the output quality. But in fact, AI is based on reinforcement training. So that's why it will based on the emotions. It understands human language. So if you are trying to say, oh, this is a good response, this is excellent, so you are reinforcing it to produce similar results. So that's why my recommendations is try to be neutral and not to being extra polite or extra negative and use some really negative or over positive emotions, because AI will always learn from the pattern. AI are trained on understanding human language, so it will base on the emotions, the language that you use, and fine-tune the output quality. So always be neutral. If it is true, say it is true. If it is false, say it is false. You don't need to use any unnecessary emotions in the prompting. And there are two core principles for better prompts, and it comes down to two key areas. The first is clear thinking, and then clear communication. So clear thinking is really about understanding what you really want, what you want to achieve from AI, what you want it to help you to do. For example, is a proposal, is it a summary, is it a presentation, is it an article, and then how you can communicate your thinking, your idea in a simple way. So that's why it's always understand what's your need and then how you can communicating it clearly. Another big tip is always begin with the end in mind. Always think about what is your end goal, what you want to achieve. And if you don't have any ideas, just think about using the 5W1H problem solving process that I recommend. Like, what is the problem? Like, why you have this problem? Where is it? When? Who? How? So by going through this 5W1H method, you can understand like what is the crux of your problem. So always think about that before you try to prompt, because it can make sure you will have a good response even on the first try. So always begin with an end goal in mind. What is the specific task, your purpose? And then another tip is about identifying the types of tasks. So there are two main types of tasks. So one of the tasks is about you understand what to do. You know exactly the process. So for example, I know exactly how to put the data and then prepare the marketing report. I can list out the step-by-step process. But however, there are also tasks that you don't know how to approach. For example, this is I need to come up with a new strategy plan for a new product launch. So you don't know how to approach these two big types of tasks, and each type of tasks have different level of complexity. So that's why if simple tasks with clear step, and also simple, this is a routine task. But however, for example, I want to propose proposal plan that I don't have any direction. So maybe it's more complex, and this is a strategic task. So this is a big tips for you is whenever you prompt using AI, try to think about what is the type of tasks. Is it simple? If this is so simple, if you understand exactly the process, you can just list out the step for AI to follow through step by step. But however, if you don't know, you can just ask it to give you some ideas or give you suggestions or give it some context, and then ask it to think more strategically. So understanding the tasks will let you know how to tailor your prompt more effectively and accordingly. So you can try to use this approach. Think about your tasks before you prompt it. So there are some example. For example, this is the bad prompt. Like we just give it, ask it to give some social posts about a new product, which is an eco-friendly water bottle. So you can see it will give you all the social posts across different platforms. So it gives you Instagram, Twitter, and then Facebook, TikTok, give it a lot. So perhaps you're not thinking this way, but however, it will base on your context and give you what it thinks you might want. So that's why the results will be more generic. So a better way to do is to give it really specific requirements. So it is a 3 Instagram posts with context about the product details, like the product name, the product features, and also the expected length of the post. And then you can see that the output will be much better. It will follow through. This is the Instagram, use it as a caption, and then what is the features. So always give it more context with the end goal in mind, and then understand what is the type of tasks that you want it to give. If you want it to follow through strictly, then you give it a step by step. If you want it to be more creative, then you can just give it some directions and then ask it to come up with the ideas. And another big piece is also about how to use it in a responsible way, because as marketers, we need to understand how to use it in a good way. Because if we don't, then it will directly impact the trust, the brand reputations, and the long-term success. And it is so important because AI is getting so accessible right now, is become more powerful than before. So as marketers, we also need to understand what are the key principles of how to use AI in a responsible way. And there's 6 criteria that marketers should know. So first of all is fairness, how we can make sure our AI tools don't favor some people over others or reinforce some unfair stereotype. So I think the action point is here is try to do regular bias audits on your AI generated content and to see if there's any bias awareness, if there's, for example, if some AI generated images may reinforce certain stereotype. due to the bias trained data. So we need to have this self-awareness. And then also how to use it safely and responsibly. So for example, validate AI-generated marketing insights against trustable industry data before really making the strategic decision, and do not just use AI generated suggestions directly. Always do fast checking, because we want to make sure we are using it in a safe way and reliable way. And then also privacy and security, how we can make sure we are not collecting other data that we shouldn't use. So we are only collecting the necessary customer data for AI marketing applications and nothing more. And also, very importantly, is to create some transparent privacy that's specifically explaining how AI will use the customer data in personalization. So we want to be transparent about that. And then also inclusive, like we want to make sure every marketing materials generated by AI is accessible to most people. We don't want it to be accessible to a small group of people, but the majority of your audience. And then another big piece is so important is about transparency. So we really need to clearly disclose whenever AI generated content, for example, AI images are being used more significantly than before. Then as the brand, as marketers, we want to disclose this information. So this is AI generated. So we are building trust, because when more AI is used, so customers may tend to be more skeptical about the brand. It's harder to build trust in the AI age. So we want to fully transparent about that as a brand. And then finally is accountability. So make sure human is always in the loop, and also establish clear roles and responsibility for human oversight. Always keep human in loop and accountable. And so do not just let AI to do autopilot. If this is a low risk action, then it's fine. But however, if it's high impact or may have significant consequence, so as a brand, we need to understand that we need to accountable about that, and always review what AI is generated before we really use it to the public. Okay, so just to quickly recap what we have learned in today's section. So we have covered some fundamentals, core concepts of generative AI, what it really is and how it differs from the traditional AI, and also some of the misconception of generative AI. And also the 4 key aspects of using AI in everyday marketing tasks, like creating content ideas, generating content, and getting insights faster, how to use it in the daily marketing team communication. And also we have learned some tips about effective prompting, and also some misconceptions about prompting and how you can prompt it more effectively. And then finally, what are some responsible AI usage we all need to know as the marketers, and so we can build more trust and long-term success for our brand. So if you want to have some more learning, continue to learning, there's some resources that I recommend. There is a training from Microsoft about using AI for everyday tasks, so you can check it out from this link. And I also recommend you can subscribe to my channel. So on my YouTube channel, I also share all the AI tools, how you can use AI for work, for other marketing aspect, for example, doing research, or how to do customer research. So there are so many different use cases that I also share on my channel, how you can use it in your daily marketing tasks, so you can get some more idea. I also encourage you to join my newsletter. So I regularly share some growth insights about AI and also digital marketing, growth marketing. You can also follow me on social channels. So I have LinkedIn, I also have YouTube, I also have X account. You can follow me on social for more marketing and AI insights. Congratulations, so you have achieved a new AI learning milestone. Before end this section, make sure you confirm your participation by scanning this QR code. Make sure you have registered so you have the chance to participate in this Guinness World Record title attempt. And also feel free to share your success. You can use the AI skill fast hashtag. You can share with your network, your LinkedIn network, social network, and celebrate the success. So thank you once again, and thank you for being part of this AI learning experience.